Today's topic for the presentation is World Bank Group. Before starting with the World Bank Group, we should know what are the main reason behind the formation of the World Bank and why we needed to founded some organizations for the international trade. As we know what happened back in 1930, I've already discussed this during my Great Depression and the International Monetary Fund video. We have conducted one conference. That conference name was the Bretton Woods Conference. We had founded 3 organizations. First is the International Monetary Fund, second is the World Bank Group, and third is the ITO. International Monetary Fund I have already discussed in my last video. Now today I am just starting with the World Bank Group. So before starting with the World Bank Group, we should know what is all about the World Bank, how the World Bank is working, and how the World Bank reduce the poverty across the globe. And World Bank started working in 1944. There are 189 countries are the member of the World Bank, and head office in Washington DC, and president is that is called David Malpass. World Bank is a group of the 5 intermediaries bank which is actually working to reduce the poverty, to provide the loans to the member countries, and they are also providing the loans to some multinational corporation as well as. And what is all about the mission of the World Bank? World Bank is basically provide the loans to the poorest developing countries, all those countries which is affected by the World War II or World War I, and all those countries which was affected by the Great Depression as well as. And what are the mission and vision of the World Bank? World Bank is looking for reduce the extreme poverty by the 3% by the 2030. That is the basic mission which is going on of the World Bank. All those countries or all those persons which is passing through the extreme poverties, they just want to be remove those poverties by the 2030s. Now we are just starting with some intermediaries organization of the World Bank. There are main 5 intermediaries organization of the World Bank. First is the IBRD, second is the IDA, third is the IFC, fourth is the MEGA, and fifth is the ICSID. Firstly, we will start with the IBRD. IBRD stands for the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. IBRD was the first subsidies organization. IBRD was the first subsidies organization which was founded in 1944, and they started working in 1946. And what are the objectives and functions of the IBRD? IBRD provided the loans to those countries which was affected by the World War II. As we know, World War II was started in 1935 and in 1939. Due to the World War, and before that most of the countries they were facing some Great Depression in the economies. So we had a required of some monetary organizations. So we have founded the IBRD. IBRD is basically working for the countries which was affected by the World War II, and we can say IBRD is a central institution of the World Bank. Suppose that if somebody is asking about the World Bank, so we can easily and we can tell them about the IBRD. Both are the complementary organizations, but there are very few people knows World Bank doesn't exist. Who exist? These 5 organizations which is actually working for to maintain the equalities in the society, to remove the poverty and to eliminate the poverties from across the globe. So what are the objectives? First objective, IBRD provide the loans to those countries which was affected by the World War II, and IBRD is a central institution of the World Bank. IBRD basically provide the loans for the development project such as infra, like to build up the airport, to build up the flyovers, to build up the new metros project. They are mainly providing the loans to those countries. As we know, because they are mainly for the just like developed countries. As we can easily understand, in our developed countries, they are having some basic amenities. So all those countries who have already completed their basic amenities in their domestic market or in their own countries, they are just requiring some fund to upgrade their basic infra. Now we are starting with the IDA. First was the IBRD, which I have already discussed. Second was the IDA, International Development Association. IDA is basically And IDA stands for the International Development Associations. There are 173 countries are the member of the IDA, and it has started working in 1960. IDA is the organization which is basically working to reduce the poverty for the poorest developing countries. Means all those countries in which their per capita income is around the $800, IDA is providing the loans to those countries. And as we know, all those countries who are not able to fulfill their basic amenities, IDA provided the loans to those countries. Then that is the only reasons IDA provide the loans to complete or fulfill the social securities. Means they are not providing the loans for the infra, or not they are providing the loans for some other financial programs. They are mainly providing the loans for the social security scheme, just like a basic housing, basic sanitation problems, or some social securities schemes. They are mainly providing the loans. Third is the IFC, International Finance Corporation. International Finance Corporation was started in 1956, and there are 184 countries are the member of the IFC. As I've already discussed, IBRD and IDA, IBRD is all about to provide the loans to the developed countries, and whatever the money they are providing, this is mainly used for some infra project, and the IDA is providing the loans to the developing countries, and the money is used for the social security scheme. But in terms of the IFC doesn't deal with the eliminating the poverty or directly providing the loans to the countries. IFC is just mainly for us to improve the private sector investment. Whatever the loans and whatever the monies they are providing to the multinational corporation, which is basically using for the to upgrade of the living standard. Means as we know, if there are n number of the MNCs will be coming in your country, then automatically your living standard will be raised. If we'll see the examples of the last 20 years or last 25 years in India, and in early 21st century, we had a very less multinational corporation in India, and we had to pay very high amount for some unbranded or local product. Due to the emergence of the multinational corporations in India, now we are able to get the quality product, and now we are able to get the branded product. And there is one program which is run by the IFC that is called Global Trade Finance Program. Global Trade Finance Program. Through the GTFP, they are providing the loans to the around 200 commercial and the private banks across the 80 countries to reduce or to eliminate the international transactions or international trade risk. Here I'll tell you the one point. International Finance Corporation doesn't provide the loans to the multinational corporations directly. They provide the loans of the concerned banks of the concerned countries. In terms of the India, if we'll see the example of the Indian perspective, IFC provide the loans to the central bank of the countries, and then central bank of the countries will provide the loans to the requiring multinational corporations, because multinational corporations they directly cannot be take any loans from the international finance corporations. So we have already discussed IBRD, IDA and IFC. These three organizations deals with the financial terms, or can we say these three organizations deal with the providing some loans, providing some grants to the member countries, and eliminating the poverties. But in terms of the MEGA and the ICSIT, there are two different organizations we are having also. MEGA stands for the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. M for multilateral, I for investment, G for guarantee, A for agency. So MEGA stands for the Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, and it was started working in 1988, and there are 181 countries are the member of the MEGA. Now what are the objectives and the functions of MEGA? MEGA karta kya hai? MEGA is all about taking the guarantees on the behalf of the member countries. Suppose that all those countries who are the member of the IBRD, IDA and IFC, and they are requiring for some funds from these three organizations. So MEGA will take the guarantees on the behalf of those countries who are going to borrow some money from these three organizations. Why they are taking them guarantees? Because there are certain issues has been raised in the past countries has taken the loan for to improve the social security status of their respective countries, but whatever the fund they have taken from IDA, they exploited those funds, they used, not we can say they misused those funds. So that is the only reasons. Suppose that you are taking money for to improve the sanitations of the respective countries, and so whatever the monies you are taking from the IDA, it should be used in a same or in a perfect manners, or for the particular thing, whatever the objective you have tell during the taking the loans from the IDA. Second objective is MEGA does the research and development as well as, means MEGA does the research and development in our member countries. If there are 181 countries are the member of the MEGA, so MEGA does research and development all those in all those countries, and after the research and development they try to find out what the opportunities and what are the threats in our concerned countries, and whatever the opportunities and whatever threats and whatever the things they are getting after doing some research, they are putting on their website. If now easily we can understand, if somebody is telling you these number of the opportunities in a respective country and these number of the threats in a respective country, if opportunities are more than the threats, so there are huge chances, there are huge potential in other concerned countries. So that is the only reasons MEGA is doing the research and development. And MEGA also does, or we can say MEGA also promote the FDI. Yes, while doing the research and development, they are able to get some opportunities and some threats, some potential market. So if you are telling to A countries or B countries that in a C country or D country there are n number of the opportunities for a particular product and services, so easily any multinational corporation can come in a respective country, they can start their own businesses, or they can start their own ventures, or they can come through any international business methods. That is all about the MEGA. So what MEGA actually does, MEGA playing, in a simple words, if somebody asks what is all about the MEGA, MEGA plays a just like a watchkeeper role in the international trade, because whatever the international transactions we are making from these three organizations, MEGA is having eyes on all the international transactions. If something will be happen, so MEGA will be responsible for same. Last, that is called ICSID. ICSID stands for the International Center for Settlement of Investment Dispute. International Center for Settlement of Investment Dispute. It has started working in 1966. There are 161 members. If we are talking about here, there are two members. 161 members, signatory and contracting state. There are 161. In terms of the only contracting state, there are only 153 members. That is all about the basic functions of these 5 intermediaries organizations. Now next topic is where the IBRD and the IDA gets its money. IBRD और IDA पैसा कहाँ से लाता है? If suppose that IBRD and IDA both are providing the loans, so it means somehow they are getting some money. Now in this topic we'll try to tell you what are the sources of IBRD and the IDA. Firstly, we will start with the IBRD, and here that is called IDA. IBRD, first interest received on the loans. IBRD is just like a full-fledged bank. Whatever the loans we are taking from the IBRD charge the interest rate on those loans. Second, members' contribution to the capital stock. Members' contribution to the capital stock. All those countries who are the member of the IBRD, they need to provide some loans and some monies with the IBRDs. And third, to sell the bonds in the international market. Just because this increase the fund, they also sell some bonds and debentures in the international market as well as. Fourth is that is called callable capital. Callable capital means whatever the capital they are raising from the shareholders, they are keeping that particular capital as a reserve, and whenever the member countries are requiring the loans, and then they are providing some money from the particular capitals. Now, and how the IDA gets its money? IDA पैसा कहाँ से लेके आता है? In a first, members contributions, but it is actually voluntary. In terms of the IBRD, if you just want to become the member of the IBRD, you have to keep some certain amount of the money for taking the membership of the IBRD. But in terms of the IDA, it's a voluntary. Sometimes whenever governments just wanted to give some grant to the IDA, they can keep some certain amount of the money with the International Development Association. Second is the voluntary contribution. Here we are talking about the voluntary contribution. It means any corporates or any multinational corporation, they just want to keep some certain amount, or they just want to donate some money other than CSR activities, that they can keep their money with the IDA. Third, sometimes they follow the replacement cycles. Replacement cycles means it is usually for the 3 to 5 years. Whenever IDA feels they are lacking with the fund, what they do, they ask from the member countries, or they are asked from some voluntary contribution. Replacement we usually do for the every 3 years or 5 years. Now next, this is all about where the IBRD and the IDA gets its money. Now next, what is the difference between the IBRD and the IDA? What is the basic difference between the IBRD and IDA? First is the IBRDs, whatever the monies we are taking from the IBRD, the money is used for the infra projects. But here, whatever the money we are taking from the IDA, it is used for the social securities schemes. And I have already told you, IBRD is just like a full-fledged bank. Whatever the transactions we are making from the IBRD, they charge the interest rate on the loans. Charge the interest rate on loans, and they don't charge. Here in IDA charge only the service charge. IDA charge only service charge. That is 0.7%. Means whatever the loans we are taking from the IDA just charge only the one-time service charge, that is the 0.75% of the total amount, whatever the loans we are taking from the international development associations. A repayment period in a IBRD, that is 15 to 20 years, and 5 years is a grace period. Means you have whatever the money we are taking from the IBRD, you have to be return those money in a maximum 25 years. But here repayment period is a 35 से 50 साल, 35 to 50 years, and 10 years is a grace period. This is all about the IBRD and the IDA, and these are the basic differences between the IBRD and the IDA. Again, I'm just telling you, whatever the money we are taking from the IBRD, which is used in an infra project, here it is for the social security schemes. IBRD doesn't charge the interest rate. Sorry, IDA doesn't charge the interest rate, but IBRD charge the interest rate. They charge the only the 0.75% the service charge, whatever the amount we are taking from the IDA. And the repayment period is in a IBRD, that is a 15 to 20 years, and the 5 years is a grace period. Means whatever the loans we are taking from the IBRD, you can keep for the 25 years. And in terms of the IDA, here the repayment period is 35 to 50 years, and 10 years is the grace period. As I've already told you, IBRD is mainly for the developed countries or the developing countries. But in terms of the idea, they are mainly for the poorest developing countries where the per capita income is around the $800. Thank you.